Okay, this video will show you the passenger inset with a 5-point star. It's a little more complicated than the 6-point star, but this is one way to do it. So we're going to put a new sketch on the face. This is where I want to place it. We want to do a 5-sided polygon, so make sure that's set to 5. And then somewhere sort of in the middle of this quadrant, we want to draw a polygon. Doesn't matter how you draw it, doesn't matter what size it is right now. We're going to go back and dimension it. First thing I want to do is hit escape. I'm going to make this side vertical. This one here, completely vertical. All right. I'm also going to dimension that side to 0.35. And then I want to take the center to the outside edge to 0.5. I'm going to take the center to the bottom edge to 0.4. There we go. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is draw an identical polygon. Well, not identical. It's smaller. It's a similar polygon. So I'm starting in the same center point. I'm going to do a 5-pointed, 5-sided. Doesn't matter how you turn it, because, well, it does sort of matter because we're going to make this side vertical again. And these two lines need to be parallel. If they're parallel, we can then dimension between the two lines and set that at 0.075. And now you have two pentagons stacked inside of each other using the same center point. We call that concentric. Now, it doesn't look like a star yet. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the line tool. So you just click on the line tool. And then we're going to go from this corner, the top corner here, and we're going to come down and try and find the midpoint of this line on the second internal polygon. So when you go down the line, you'll notice it turns green. That green dot means you have found the center, the geometric center. So I'm going to click. So I've drawn a line from the outside corner to the midpoint. I'm going to do the same thing here. Make sure it turns green. And I'm going to do that all the way around. Outside corner. Find the midpoint. There it is. It goes green. Outside corner. Make sure it goes green. Outside corner. Green. Hopefully, you're starting to see a star form. There's the midpoint. That's it as far as drawing those lines. Hit escape to get out of those modes. Now, we're going to go back and we're going to cut away the extra lines that we don't need. We're going to use the trim tool. But before I do that, I also need to remove any dimensioning that was done with some of the lines that I'm going to cut. I'm cutting this line. So any dimension attached to it needs to be deleted. So I can right-click on that dimension if I'm not in any modes. How do you know if you're not in any modes? You don't see any blue buttons highlighted, and just hit escape a couple of times and that'll get you out of any mode you might have been in. Right click on the number, delete. Right click on the number, delete. Just by deleting the numbers, it doesn't change any of your dimensions. The object stays the same. Now, if I tried to move the object right now, it might shift my numbers because I don't have them locked in anymore. But all I'm doing is using the trim tool to get rid of lines that we don't need. It may take a few clicks because it breaks it up into smaller chunks. smaller segments. There's an extra one there. So just kind of go around the outside, deleting the little pieces, little segments of line that we do not need. You want to make sure you get all of them, even those little ones, because later when we try to extrude, the extrusion won't work if we have any extraneous little lines sticking out. And now you can definitely see the star. So that's your 5-point star. Finish sketch. Extrude. Now, if we see this shape extrude outward like this, I know I've done it correctly. If you try to click extrude and it doesn't let you, then there's something wrong with your shape. You may have to go back and redo the shape, or you deleted too many lines, or you left a little tiny line segment somewhere sticking out that is keeping it from being considered a closed loop. And there we go. Now, if you chose the 5-point star, I'm going to have to go through the final few things on this part, like I did on the 6-point star video. So if we look at the object here, it has one note here, shell thickness 0.01. You can't see it from this diagram, but shell means it's not solid. So if I were to turn this around and look at the backside, it's going to be cut out. It's going to be shelled out. So think about a McDonald's cup lid to your McDonald's cup. It's not a solid 1/4 inch of plastic. It's a super thin sheet of plastic that is molded and shaped. It may have started off as a solid piece of plastic, but in the process that they use to manufacture it, it gets pressed and bent and folded. Well, we don't really have manufacturing when we're doing Inventor models, but we do want our final product to look like it was bent and shaped and molded. So sometimes we may use shell as a tool to give us the final look that we want. I say all that just to show you this. We're going to come here and we're going to flip it around to the back. So I'm going to go to my rotation cube and I'm going to click once. This is the back side. I'm going to go to the shell tool here under modify. Remove face, yes, leave that checked. Our thickness though should be 0.01. And then we click the back of the part and then click OK. Don't worry about the weird gray, charcoal gray look. Just move it around so you can see what's happened. It was a solid piece of plastic. Now, a lot of that plastic has been removed just to leave the outline. We call that a shell. That's the shell. That's what we want. Final stage. The final stage of this product, of course, is the color. So green. Let's change the color. So I'm going to click on the isometric view here. To change the color of the part, you got to do two things. Number one, you're going to have to open the color wheel. There are 3 different color wheels you see at the top ribbon. We want the one in between the word generic and default. We want that one here. So if you click in the middle, it'll bring up this window. Make sure, honestly, all of them, we can flip through any of these, whether it's the materials or the desktop Autodesk application or the Inventor materials. Any of those are folders that would have different colors. I'm going to type in the search green, and let's see what they come up with. What kind of greens are on my computer? So if I click search result, it's going to look in all of these folders. So I have a lot of different greens. Mint green, marbly green, some that look like glass, some that look like a shiny metal. But I think I'm just going to go with what they call dark green, although it doesn't look very dark to me. That's what I'm going to go with. So this one will be drug to what I call the palette. So right here's where we're going to put our color. So we're going to put them here. Then we need to select the name of the part. So just go to your browser and click on the name of the part. It highlights it in blue. Then click on the color. And that's it. That's all you do to apply color to something. Select the color, put it on your palette, choose the name of the part, then click the color, and it applies it. So that would be it. That's the part. It is complete. So go to File, Save As, or Save. Passenger Insert 5-point is what I called mine. I'm going to click Save, Yes. And that is the part. The next video will be a drawing sheet of the part to show you how to dimension the holes and different things, because you have to dimension the locations and sizes of each of the geometric figures that you've cut out. And I'll also show you how to label it as a shell as opposed to a solid piece of plastic. All right, tune in for the next video.